As expected, Netaji Subhas Chandra Bose's 126th birth anniversary proved to be a day of battle for the BJP and the ruling TMC in West Bengal. Both parties targeted each other in a clear attempt to claim the late freedom fighter's legacy, like they always do. The BJP's ideologue partner, the RSS, in fact, held a massive event just 3 kilometers away from where the TMC was celebrating Netaji's birth anniversary. Now, speaking at this event, RSS chief Mohan Bhagwat said, and I quote, "Netaji's dream of making India great is still incomplete, and we all have to work to fulfill it." Netaji and RSS share the same goal, he said. Now, following this, Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated a memorial dedicated to Netaji in Andaman and Nicobar Islands. He did this virtually. The government observes Netaji's birth anniversary as Parakram Divas. To mark this day, the Prime Minister also named 21 islands in Andaman and Nicobar after 21 Param Veer Chakra awardees. Listen in.
उस समय का एक काम था देश के स्वतंत्रता के लिए लड़ाई, लेकिन इस लड़ाई को करते करते उन्होंने भारत के मनुष्यों में कैसे कैसे मनुष्य उत्पन्न किए, वो अकेले नहीं, उन्होंने अकेले ने अपने सहयोगी अपने जैसे खड़े किए जो आजीवन इस व्रत का निर्वाह करते रहे। एक दीप से जला दूसरा जलते दीप अनेक, ऐसे उनके आजाद हिंद फौज की अवस्था हो गई। ऐसे उनके स्वातंत्र्य के संघर्ष की ज्योति सबके हृदय में पनपी। हमको यही करना है। स्वतंत्रता प्राप्त हुई, उसमें स्वता तंत्र लाना है। देश के ऐतिहासिक धारा, देश का ऐतिहासिक चिंतन, उसके अनुसार हम सबके जीवन की पुनर्रचना होनी है।
And just 3 kilometers away from this RSS event, West Bengal's Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee also paid tribute to Netaji at an event at Kolkata's iconic Red Road, which was also attended by family members of Netaji. Now, reacting to Prime Minister Modi's move of renaming islands, Ms. Banerjee said that it was done merely to gain popularity. And while she said, while some want to take the credit today, the fact remains the names were given by Netaji himself when he was at the cellular jail. She even targeted the central government for sending various central investigating agencies to West Bengal. Meanwhile, TMC's leader Madan Mitra lashed out at the RSS and Mohan Bhagwat's statement of fulfilling Netaji's dreams. He said while Netaji asked for blood to get us freedom, the BJP and the RSS are doing so to carry out riots in the country. Listen in.
আজকে কেউ নাম কামানোর জন্য বলতেই পারে আমরা করলাম শহীদ দ্বীপ স্বরাজ দ্বীপ, আদৌ তা নয়। এটা নেতাজি সুভাষচন্দ্র বোস আন্দামানে যখন গিয়েছিলেন সেলুলার জেল পরিদর্শনে, সেই সময়টা তিনি করে এসেছিলেন। মাথায় রাখবেন, নেতাজি সুভাষচন্দ্র বোস শুধু সেদিনকার কথাই বলেননি, তিনি স্বাধীনতা সংগ্রামে কি করে দেশকে এগিয়ে নিয়ে যাওয়া যায়, কি করে স্বাধীনতা সংগ্রামকে ছিনিয়ে আনা যায়, সাথে সাথে আফটার দ্যাট হোয়াট উইল বি আওয়ার প্ল্যানিং, সেটা সম্বন্ধেও চিন্তা করেছিলেন।
Don't use the name of Netaji. You are the kalank to use the name of Netaji. Are you following the path of Netaji? Netaji Subhas told, "Give me blood, I will give you freedom." And you are telling in Godhra and Ram Mandir Ayodhya, Mohan Bhagwat, Narendra Modi and everybody, that we want blood for organizing riots. दंगा बधाने के लिए आपको खून का जरूरत है. Your statement is, give me more blood and blood. We want to organize riots throughout the country.
Now, earlier today, I spoke to Netaji's daughter, Anita Bose, about his relationship with the RSS that was celebrating him today and whether there was any overlap at all in their ideologies. Take a look. Let me go straight across to Anita Bose, who's joining us on the broadcast. Anita ji, thank you very much as always for your time here on Mirror Now. Can I start by asking you, I wonder if you're keeping tab of the news playing out here in India today, and there's again a raging war over the legacy of Netaji Subhas Chandra Bose. There are allegations today that the RSS is trying to exploit Netaji's legacy. Would you accept that?
Let me first of all state that I'm very happy that people across the political spectrum want to honor Netaji. I think this is a very significant thing for him because I think the love and the reverence that people give him in India repays him for his sacrifice for India. So I have no problems with RSS or any other political party honoring him. On the other hand, Netaji stands for his own values and his own views. And if members of all parties want to embrace those views, it is certainly welcome. And if RSS, for example, would turn to certain attitudes Netaji had, like his respect for other religions and his wish that members of all religions live together peacefully in India, then this would be all the best.
Could I ask you what Netaji's views on the RSS were? Would you necessarily say that the ideologies were poles apart?
I certainly don't see a great overlap in many aspects. For example, the attitude towards members of other religions, I think, were not identical. One certainly has to realize that Netaji was a deeply religious person himself, but he had great respect for other religions, and in the INA, this attitude was practiced very clearly, and also in his own actions. Whenever he had an important undertaking, he made sure that not only Hindus, but also Muslims and members of other religions participated in that effort. For example, it was a Muslim who accompanied him on the submarine journey from Germany to the Far East, and also on his last journey from Saigon to Taipei.
Anita ji, then can I ask you, we know there is a legacy war here in India over Netaji, and that's a good thing, right? That's not necessarily a bad thing. That is necessarily, I would say, a good thing given what he represented. Why do you think we are seeing that, that fight for his legacy being played out between the Congress party, between the BJP, the TMC as well? Why do you think that is happening? And which party do you think ideologically is he closest to?
I think along with Mahatma Gandhi, Netaji today probably could be considered the most revered and respected leader of the independence struggle in India. And therefore, any politician would be interested in claiming a closeness to persons like Gandhiji and Netaji. And therefore, I think it's not surprising that members of different parties claim this closeness, even though they may not have agreed during the time period when Netaji was active.
Anita ji, many people will argue that Netaji is a national icon. His statue, after all, stands at the India Gate. Would you agree with that, that he's a national icon, not someone, people can lay, or political parties can now lay claim on, especially those whose ideologies were fairly different from the ones that he held?
I certainly would agree with that, because after all, today, I think honoring him is a thank you for what he has done. And it is quite legitimate that members of different political leanings want to thank him for what he has done, because I mean the men and women of those days sacrificed a lot for India's independence, and I think those who live today are the beneficiaries of these efforts. So I think even if parties today do not agree with details and the ideology of Netaji, there's nothing wrong with their honoring him. If there's anything wrong,
Absolutely.
it's just
I agree with you
that
there.
he had an attitude which he didn't have.
Okay. My last question, the sense we get here is that this present government, the BJP, has actually walked an extra mile to honor Netaji Subhas Chandra Bose, your father, the way he should have been originally, and that the Congress largely had ignored him. Is that a sentiment you hold as well, ma'am?
Yes, I certainly would agree that Congress had problems with regard to their relations to Netaji. I mean, there were many members of Congress who honor him and revere him just as much. But on account of the disagreements between my father and Mahatma Gandhi and the right wing of Congress, some of the Congress members have problems. And on the other hand, I think after independence, when Congress held power at the governmental level for many decades, there was an interest in maintaining the claim that it was the Congress activities, meaning the non-violent part of the independence movement, that was the main factor for gaining independence. And of course, when later documents were declassified, we learned that it was very much an effect of the Indian National Army that Britain could not hold on to India any longer.
So in that sense, as I wrap this chat with you, on a day which is very important to India and to you personally as well, were you surprised that the RSS and Mohan Bhagwat decided to, make some pomp and show and song and dance about Netaji's birth anniversary?
As I mentioned before, I'm not surprised that people of all walks of life and of all ideologies want to thank Netaji today. So in a way, the RSS wish to honor him was not surprising. On the other hand, I certainly would take exception to having the RSS claim Netaji as agreeing with their own ideology, because that, to my mind, in certain important aspects, is not the case. I would agree that the aspect of wanting to gain India's independence sort of united men and women of all walks of life, from the far right to the far left.
Anitaji, always good to have you here on Mirror Now. Thank you very much for joining us and sharing your thoughts.
Jai
Thank you
Hind.
very much indeed. Jai Hind. And finally,